If you're concerned about your teenager being addicted to their iPhone, your infant is much more vulnerable.
I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
What's gonna happen? I did. What's gonna happen? I did.
Generation Alpha. Everyone says they are the future, the ones who will fix what we broke, the leaders of tomorrow. But have you looked around lately? Kids glued to screens, learning life from influencers, struggling to focus, connect, and even play outside. So here's the real question. Are they growing up to change the world, or are we watching a generation slip through our fingers? Who are Generation Alpha? Born between 2010 and 2025, they are the first generation ever to be named with a Greek alphabet letter and to enter a fully digital world. Before they can even speak, they are swiping screens. They are also referred to as mini millennials because they have millennial parents, and Generation COVID because it's the first generation to grow in a world affected by COVID. And every week, 2.586 million new alphas are born, making them the fastest generation in human history. By the end of 2025, they are expected to surpass the 2 billion mark. But behind the numbers, something feels weird about this generation. And if you ask around, you will hear it. There's no hope for this generation. Scroll through social media and quickly you are going to find videos of tantrums in restaurants, 6-year-olds glued to smartphones and iPads, 10-year-old kids talking like influencers, 10-year-olds already having burnout. It's easy to write them off. Teachers are overwhelmed.
I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level.
Parents are exhausted, and the internet is raising them faster than any adult can intervene. But is Gen Alpha truly doomed, or are they a mirror reflecting something we haven't dared to face? Before we cast judgment, we need to ask, what's shaping them? And why are they so radically different from every generation that came before them? At the center of it all, the internet, but more specifically, the rise of the iPad kid. Close your eyes and picture a child today. What do you see? Chances are they are holding a screen. Because for Generation Alpha, the screen isn't just a toy. It's a pacifier, a teacher, a babysitter, and a best friend. As a matter of fact, this generation prefer education content gamified and AI-driven. They've been raised by glowing rectangles, TVs, tablets, smartphones, from the moment they could hold them. In the United States, for instance, by the age of 2, 40% of Gen Alpha own a tablet. And by age of 4, 58% do not share one, own one. That's why this generation has earned itself a name. Not the future, not the hope, but the iPad kids. And when the screen is taken away, the result is often terrifying.
You want me to take your iPad away? No! Okay, well, it's time for...
These iPad kids getting out of control.
Screens, the new nanny. It started as a convenience. In a world where parents return home tired, distressed, and overwhelmed, the screens have emerged as a much-needed helper with the kids. And now, some parents look at them as peace in a pocket.
Sometimes you have an important phone call, or you've got a parent-teacher interview, or whatever, that you just can't be interrupted in, and it's so easy. It's peace in a pocket.
But what if, just what if, the new nanny is silently damaging Generation Alpha under the guise of helping? Why do I ask? Because what began as a tool is blossoming into a digital addiction that has all the red flags for danger ahead for Generation Alpha. Gen Alpha spends 7 to 8 hours a day using mobile devices. And I'm not talking about school assignments. But to make sense of this, we need to travel back in time. It's 2012. An Alaskan Airlines flight is getting ready for takeoff from Seattle to St. Martin Island. The attendants request all devices to be turned off, and all go off except one. A 3-year-old is holding onto a tablet, and his dad gently takes the tablet to switch it off. And that is literally where it went off. He switched off impulse control in the kid. His response, an extreme tantrum, a raging outburst, and even hitting his head on the plane begging for his tablet. The pilot had no option but to turn around, and the family's trip came to an absolute end. All because a toddler couldn't cope without a tablet. And that was 13 years ago. And since then, Gen Alpha has become more addicted.
Go to bed.
No, not go to bed. No.
Come on.
I'm not ready to go to bed.
Come on.
Locked indoors, the digital trap. Then came 2020, and the world shut down. Work from home orders came along, playgrounds went silent, classrooms emptied, and the screen, it became everything. Friend, teacher, playground, babysitter. And in a few months, Gen Alpha's reliance on screen skyrocketed. Their minds were fed a constant stream of dopamine hits, loud, fast, flashy. Real life began to feel and to look boring. Fast forward to where we are today, 2025. And on average, 25%, that is 1 in every 4 of Gen Alphas spend 7 hours a day on their smartphones. That's 49 hours a week. And that is a full-time job. What do they see on screens? A world engineered by algorithms, hyper-curated, addictive, never-ending. The rise of brain-rotting content. This is where the term brain rot begins to make sense for you. It was Oxford University's Word of the Year 2024. It describes the damaging of the brain by an obsession with overstimulated digital content. It is filled with bright colors and slang and constant cuts. A perfect example, the Defuk Boom YouTube channel. From May of 2023 to March 2024, this channel grew from 5 million subscribers to 40 million subscribers. And to millions of kids, it's entertainment. But it's not storytelling, it's sensory warfare. The overstimulation rewires the brain, dulling real-world emotions, attention, and empathy. Cocomelon is basically cocaine for toddlers. Cocomelon has become a staple for toddlers with its bright colors, catchy songs, and fast-moving scenes. But many parents now worry it's too stimulating. The show's rapid scene changes, sometimes every 1 to 3 seconds, combined with repetitive music, flood young brains with non-stop sensory input. And experts are warning that this overstimulation can lead to shorter attention spans, impaired impulse control, and impaired memory, and also impaired flexibility. Kids may even show withdrawal-like behaviors when the screen is turned off. Besides hooking young viewers, Cocomelon and the like are making ordinary prey feel dull by comparison. Academics are so concerned that the iPad 3, particularly, is so vivid that children using it will eventually find the real world dull by a mile. It's not just content, it's conditioning. Education is crumbling. The classroom is falling apart. Teachers are sounding the alarm.
7th grade English teacher here. I teach in Northern Houston, and I teach at one of the more affluent schools. When I tell you that these babies cannot read, they cannot write, and they cannot comprehend, I'm not being funny. I'm being dead serious.
Reading levels have plummeted. Writing skills nearly vanished. Children cannot concentrate. They cannot communicate. They cannot function without a screen. The dawn of the cheating generation. With the arrival of AI tools like ChatGPT, Grammarly, and AI essay bots, homework that used to take hours now takes seconds. And it sounds more efficient. It's eroding something critical, the ability to think critically. Systematically, our kids stop thinking for themselves. Instead of thinking, what do? They Google. What Google says is the truth. The internet is a new parent and teacher. What they see online isn't questioned, it's absorbed. Gen Alpha is being raised not by real people, but by algorithms. And that's the recipe for a generation vulnerable to manipulation from trends, influencers, and ads. And here comes the gullible generation. Before the advent of the internet, billboards decorated roadside to cities and towns. Today, the ads are online, every online street. Is there a problem with that? Gen Alpha do not know when they are being marketed to. A TikTok, a trend, a paid ad, it all looks the same. It may sound absurd, but for these kids, that's reality. Thirsty traps for 10-year-olds. Before they can even spell their own names, Gen Alpha kids have digital footprints hundreds of pictures deep. By age 10, most already have 100 photos online. And now, platforms like TikTok push that trap content, seductive dances, curated poses, suggestive outfits. It's attention hacking, and some kids are unknowingly replicating it. The danger? Some of this content leads to loss of privacy and even to death. They are being seen by everyone. Normal outdoor kids. Only 1 in 4 children play outside regularly. The rest, they are indoors. Their faces glued to the screens. That means 75% of children are missing out on the benefits of playing outside, such as advanced motor skills, lower body mass, and overall general health. Even basic tasks, eating, brushing teeth, using the bathroom, requires screen time to stay calm, and deny it, and the tantrums begin. We've created a generation raised not by parents, but by influencers, many of whom flaunt OnlyFans accounts, promote overnight wealth schemes, or preach entitlement as a virtue. So we have to keep asking, is Generation Alpha doomed? There's no denying the storm. Digital overstimulation is here, and failing education is a new norm. Vanishing attention spans have become normalized. Rising consumerism is a new identity, an identity shaped by algorithms. But all is not lost. Gen Alpha has something no generation before them ever had: unlimited access to knowledge, creation tools, and global platforms. In the right hands, these tools can transform them into the most innovative, informed, and empathetic humans the world has ever seen. But they won't get there on their own. They need us, parents, teachers, siblings, mentors, to guide them, to be the firewall between them and the chaos of the internet. Because the truth is, the internet isn't going away.